This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we welcome you to 757 Saturday Sports Talk. I did not like that intro with the ending of Game 1 of the World Series, the Fall Classic. But like I told someone last night who asked me how I felt, well, I said I feel with my fingers. That's how I feel.
You stole that line from me.
I didn't steal it from you. The second thing is it's the first to 4, not the first to 1. So, congratulations. You can watch the World Series on Fox, as you see there. Game number 2 coming up tonight. We need Merrill Kelly to respond in Texas after Adolis Garcia and Corey Seager went deep against my D-backs. But how sweet it is to be in the World Series for the first time in 22 years after what was the greatest World Series of all time, as Ed shakes his head in agreement, for sure. Greatest World Series of all time 22 years ago. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I would have to say maybe the 60 series where the Pirates upset the Yankees.
No, our audience, outside of Lynn Burke and about 5 other people,
you got to look at everything. That's wrong with you young punks. Everybody
young punks? Why are you calling people punks?
Well, that's because that's what you are. You all think the history is from 1998
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No, there's greater
Don't
things
put words in my mouth.
The thing I have to say about, I got to be respectful to you and your Diamondbacks. It's the first time the AAA team has made a World Series, so I give them a lot of credit, and they have a chance to win this. They really do, because I don't think Texas is overwhelming. Everybody's all of a sudden excited about all their hitting. Did we not say that about the Braves? Did we not say that about the Phillies? Now here we are with Texas. So Arizona has a shot, and he bringing his toys on the air, but
props. Where's your little guy from last week?
My little guy, the
Randy Johnson, the big unit. Look at that.
Yeah,
look at that classic Arizona. People were making fun of me on IG Live.
They should.
7 because I had the old retro. There's the old retro Arizona unis, baby. And I've already ordered my National League Championship gear. I'll have a hat it's supposed to come on by Monday, by next week's show. And I'll have my nice little sleeve pullover, so you'll see me wearing that next week.
Normally, they make...
And trust me, I'm still rocking, even though we lost, there's the All-Star game patch. I'm still rocking the Diamondbacks All-Star Luis Gonzalez jersey today.
By the way, the little guy on me is not up there.
It's one of the two.
The little guy's not up there at the week. I had him here last week. He's on tour right now. He has a previous engagement. So he comes up with one of those little things he stole from his nephew's toy box.
I didn't steal from the nephew's toy box.
And like I said, but you'll get all that championship gear, because normally they make gear for both teams in the World Series, and then the team that doesn't win it, they ship all their gear like overseas, and you'll see kids like in some third world country or whatever wearing Diamondbacks World Series champions, and you'll see you wearing it, but it'll be Texas winning it.
I don't like that.
Texas and 5.
Should have had a Super Bowl 43 Cardinals shirt to wear. And I should have definitely, if it wasn't for Nick Bavetta, had a 1998 NBA Finals Utah Jazz shirt to wear.
That's a name.
Go back and watch that game. Brian Russell, I'm not seeing people talk about the push off of Jordan Brown Russell. I'll live with that. Howard Isaac made a 3 that should have counted in the first half, and Ron Harper made a fourth quarter jumper that shouldn't have counted on the shot clock violation. Go look at it. Let it go. I'm not letting it go.
Life is too short.
Not letting it go.
Transgressions.
You hold on to too many things.
No, I've learned to let them go. Not everything, but I learned to let them go.
There you go. All right, 757 Saturday Sports Talk. It is time to go through some high school football scores. Look who's joining us again. We love Lynn out there. Just tune to hear his name called. That's right.
That makes it great. You're right, Lynn. That makes it great. Right off the bat, we got Lynn Burke in.
We got another Hall of Famer that's going to join us on the screen. You know who that is on the show? We got Curt Dudley, the longtime broadcaster for James Madison University. We're going to preview ODU JMU today. Do you know what the line is on that game? Which, by the way, people can't throw shekels in the Commonwealth on this game. Outside of Commonwealth, they can't.
JMU, is that Old Dominion?
No, ODU's at JMU.
Oh, James, I'm going to say Madison by
7. You don't pay attention, do you? 7 is what you think it is?
I think it's 7.
And by the way, JMU is now ranked top 25 2 years ago at playing FCS football. Now they're playing FBS football, big boy football. 20.5-point favorite. That's a little too much.
That's too much.
I'm not sure ODU wins the game at Harrisonburg. They should cover that. You're with me on that. See,
that.
We agree for a change. We don't always fight and disagree. That's contrary to people's belief and opinions. You ready to go through the high school football scores from last night, Ed, and around the 757 and beyond? I know you are.
Let's see.
Well, if you want to know about get some sound, do we not?
Yeah, let's try to go there. You watched the game last night. You went over there and got a chance to see Green Run Tallwood, and you got a chance to hook up with Coach Williams, Brandon Williams, right after. So let's go ahead and get his perspective on the game from last night.
I'm here with Green Run head football coach Brandon Williams after the Stallions' 47-7 win over the Tallwood Lions on the road to move to 9-0. Coach, you now have won 32 straight Beach District games by over 37 points per game in terms of regular season victories. What's that mean to you? Because I know that the goals are regional and state championships, but to dominate the city the way you had these last few years, it has to be pretty satisfying in a lot of ways.
Of course, a win is a win always, and like I said, we got 32 straight right now, and our goal is to keep it going, and focus on the next game at hand, which is Lansdowne now. So we're trying to go 1-0 every week.
This game was reminiscent in some regards to a few weeks ago with Bayside. You were tied up at halftime, and that one it's 14-7 at the break. You came out in the second half. What was the mood in the locker room? Was it we've been here before, don't panic, just be patient?
Yeah,
what was this talk like?
We always say from the beginning of the season we're working on ourselves, and like I said, we had to go in there and make some second half adjustments. Came out, got a few stops, started moving the ball down the field, and here we go.
Kason Farrar, I just asked Keelan Brody Adams, your wide receiver headed to Virginia Tech, the 4-star ballyhooed player. How is he similar or different from your previous quarterbacks in Kevin White and Xavier Davis? Well, tonight, whether he's similar or different, he's 16-23, coach, almost 300 yards passing, 4 TDs. Do you marvel at some of the things he does out there? Because he's been very efficient all year long.
Yeah, I hate to compare all three of them guys. All three of them are great quarterbacks.
Right.
Here at Green Run.
It's like picking your favorite kids,
exactly.
right?
And, but all three of them have a special unique. With his son, his statue and his ability to look over the defense and make ball plays down the field. That stretches our offense out with all the athletes we got. So it opens up our running game also. So he's doing a great job.
What's the biggest thing with the learning curve with the new quarterback in your offense? Because you have talent at wide receiver, obviously with Adams and Jaden Anderson, who's had a great year. Quality Price, who's got some shake and wiggle to him. My goodness, you have weapons there. And Tayshawn Youngstein, don't want to leave him out. Right. What's kind of the key to getting the offense to click the way it has?
They just, they play for one another. Continuity, however you say it.
Continuity,
Continuity, and but they play for one another, and they like to see each other succeed. So it's like a track meet out there. And
sure.
They turn it into a track meet.
I know chatting with your DC, Terrell Whitehead, you were missing 4 or 5 guys that start from that side of the ball and a couple in the secondary that matter a lot with Tyler Baker, Milt Ferguson. Nonetheless, you get 4 takeaways in the second half. How much did that allow your offense to kind of feast, getting those short fields to work with?
We thrive on turnovers. Like I said, we played with a very young secondary tonight, which was very bright for our future. But those guys stepped up tonight, made some big plays and turnover key situations, and that's actually what the turn over the game.
I read your comment last week, I think, in the paper after the win that you had against, was it Ocean? I forget who you played last week.
We played
Salem.
Yeah.
Okay, they all run together in the beach sometimes, but you weren't really pleased with the overall performance, and you're looking ahead to what's down the road because this team has that expectation. Yeah. How do you judge a game like this where you play a first half that's a little bit uneven, but the second half you were pretty razor sharp?
Right. Like I said, we looking to get better each and every week, and once we get a grasp of what's going on and the game plan or whatnot, and we take care of business, we're our own worst enemy. So we took care of business tonight, and that's what happened in the second half. We took care of business and got the dub.
Sure, last 2 for you. Do you sense when you walk into these games with Beach District teams that you're sort of that hunted, people kind of circling Green Run, and there's also a little bit of an intimidation factor with that helps you in a lot of ways?
I mean, no question. Everybody knows. We know that everybody has Green Run circled on their calendar because everybody's gunning for us. We're at the top right now, so we got to put our best effort each and every week. And like I said, we got another tough game next week. I don't know what Lansdowne did tonight, but from the past few weeks, they've been getting better each and every week. So we got to be ready prepared for next week.
Handled first Colonial pretty well. I can fill you in on that. And lastly, I know you're in 5A. 5B is a gauntlet with 3 undefeated teams currently with Maury, Warwick, and Kings Fork. But as you have your sights on getting to December and playing, deep into it in a state championship, what are the things you highlight with the guys besides you want to stay healthy, execute, do all the things on and off the field that you talk about your kids, talk about with your kids all the time?
Just stay together. Take week in and week out. Don't look ahead because we know what's at stake. We know what's at the end of the road here, and we just got to take each and every week seriously. Prepare Monday through Friday, and just wish for the best.
Keep stampeding on Dahlia Drive and beyond. Coach Brandon Williams, thank you so much. We'll see you again soon.
Appreciate it.
So that was Brandon Williams of the Green Run Stallions, victorious 47-7 over Tallwood. It was a 14-7 game at the break, but they steamrolled them in the second half with 300 yards after intermission, 487 total yards for the ball game. And their quarterback, Kason Farrar, who you'll hear from along with Keelan Brody Adams, the wide receiver and Virginia Tech commit, coming up on the hash of Hatfield this coming week on our Thursday football podcast. Great connection there as Brody catches 4 balls for 91 yards, 2 scores. He's now up to, I think, 46 TD grabs in his career. He's closing in on 50. And Farrar, first year coming in from Mitchell, 16 of 23, 265 yards, 4 TD passes. I think that gives him now 34 TDs versus 2 INTs. That's an outrageous quarterback rating. I can't calculate at this point.
Yeah, that's video game stuff to get it like that. But, listen to Coach Williams. It's kind of funny to hear the coaches when, what is he, 9-0, and we got to get better. We're hitting our stride. Brandon, calm down. You're undefeated. Your team is good. You'll be a major, major factor in the playoffs. Everybody expects Green Run and Maury in the finals. Of course, it has to be done on the field. I get that. And I can say that sitting here, but I know when I'm on the sidelines, I'm the same way too. But he's done an awesome job of putting that squad together and getting them to where they are right now. It's nice to be undefeated, but as you get to this time of the year, right towards the end, get ready for playoffs, it's a lot of pressure because can we continue doing it? And you've gone through all problems and stayed undefeated, but now when the teams are getting even better, you can't make those kind of mistakes and expect to get away with it.
Well, I mean, when you win 32 consecutive beach games in the regular season and you're winning by a margin of 37.6 points per game, that seems great. And we'll hear from Anthony Joffrey on a couple of comments. We'll read them from what he had after his teams went over Deep Creek. And it's not good enough for them at 9-0. And Warwick hasn't given up a touchdown all year. And it might not be good enough for them, which they got Phoebus today. We're going to preview that game coming up in our next segment. Because when you see what the team in Norfolk is doing, that's the favorite to win the state championship, you just marvel. And you are absolutely perplexed. But we're going to take a time out. Eddie, we're going to hear from one of our sponsors. Who we got coming up on the sponsors? Do you know?
I'm wondering if we have, I've got all kind of ones that I like. The big one is my pizza place.
You want Chicho's?
Chicho's.
Okay.
If we can do Chicho's, if we're not getting out of our routine,
we will.
Let's do Chicho's because I can go for a slice right now.
We'll hear from Chicho's, also Dairy Queen, Freddie,
yes,
as well as the Drip
yes.
Bar. It's all coming your way with Hatfield and Young, 757 Saturday Sports Talk at the Plex. Interact with us. Comment, like, share, and subscribe right here, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, X, Facebook, or VirginiaPreps.com.
Okay, who here has reached peak fall?
Peak what?
Peak fall!
I am wearing plaid.
And I'm wearing a cardigan.
I guess I am eating snickerdoodle cookie dough.
And I am eating a pumpkin pie blizzard.
The new DQ Fall Blizzard menu has reached peak fall. Pumpkin pie, snickerdoodle cookie dough, and more. They are back!
I just love fall.
Apparently we all do.
Oh, they did it! Peak fall achieved! DQ, happy tastes good.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar, IV hydration and vitamin therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
Welcome back to 757 Sports Talk. No, it's not in the pool. It's Hatfield and Young at the Plex, the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Here are two guys that, even though they never shut up, they're always dropping pearls of wisdom, Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back with you, 757 Saturday Sports Talk at the Plex. Thanks to Steve and also the Drip Bar, which specializes in IV vitamin therapy, IM shots, halotherapy, and hydrofacials. The average person can absorb only 20 to 50% of vitamins they take in by mouth, but through IV, the absorption is nearly 100%. They take care of clients with different needs, from curing hangover side effects to providing an energy boost for athletes to supportive therapy for cancer patients. There's something for everyone at
I got
Pleasure Bar.
to try the drip bar to get them vitamins in. I've never really heard of that. I'm anxious to try it. The only problem is I'm not big on needles going into skin.
Okay.
So
It's good to know the next time we have to make a wager, we might have to use the needles for you.
yeah, I'm the drip bar would be. I wonder if we
I
can
can say
get it.
wager. We can say wager. Gentleman's agreement.
Gentlemen's agreement. Yeah.
Hey, where do you want to head to next? Would you like to go Hear from some NFL greats as well as Freddy's and Gatorade. Stay tuned. We've got Curt Dudley to talk about JMU hosting ODU in a big college football clash in the Sun Belt coming up right here on the show from the Plex.
Man, I wish I was out there.
Let's unretire.
Why not? Randy Moss.
Dan Marino? You alright?
Hey, Grandpa!
Grandpa?
I still got it.
22. 22.
Delay game, number 13.
Let's see. Hey. I need that senior discount. That's the game. Mr. Marino, you mind if I take a selfie? Thank you.
I'm good right here, bro.
Unretirement? Who'd be dumb enough to do that?
Okay, who here has reached peak fall?
Peak what?
Peak fall.
I am wearing plaid.
And I'm wearing a cardigan.
I guess I am eating snickerdoodle cookie dough.
And I am eating a pumpkin pie blizzard.
The new DQ Fall Blizzard menu has reached peak fall. Pumpkin pie, snickerdoodle cookie dough, and more. They are back.
I just love fall.
Apparently we all do.
Oh, they did it. Peak fall achieved. DQ, happy tastes good.
Every year, thousands of athletes disappear in clutch moments due to falling hydration levels.
I used to go missing all the time. I let everyone down. I even let Shannon Sharp down.
Yeah, you let me down. They've been told how you feel yourself doesn't matter. That electrolytes are all the same. Then just like that, they're gone. Get yourself back in the game. Get yourself a Gatorade. Could be the difference between dominating and disappearing. Gatorade, rehydrate, replenish, refuel.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar IV Hydration and Vitamin Therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and that evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
All right, we're back here, 757 Saturday Sports Talk at the Plex, and we're so pleased to be joined by one of the best in the business. You can follow him on Twitter or X at Curt Dudley. That's CurtDudley. He's a Valley League Baseball Hall of Famer, all sports coverage for the Dukes of JMU in his 36th season, the Director of Broadcast Services Emeritus. Curt, good to have you on the show. We used to talk to you radio-wise, but now we're doing it through the, I guess you could say, telecommunication style of podcasting and various platforms. But how's life treating you so far this year in this fun football season for the Dukes, undefeated here in October?
Yeah, it has been fun. I do apologize. I got a little bit of a gravelly voice here this morning. When you have a 4-year-old grandson, you know what he likes to give you? Germs, right? So that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. But Coach Young, good to see you again. It's been a number of years, of course.
Hey, Curt, great to see you too. And I empathize with you because speaking of germs, I got to sit next to this guy every Saturday, and you see the paraphernalia that he wears and whatever. So I'm surprised I don't have some kind of disease right now.
I don't have many teams I root for, but when the Arizona Diamondbacks are in the World Series for the first time in 22 years, when they beat his Yankees in a thrilling 7-game series, I thought they had no chance when they lost 9 straight in August. You got to celebrate in some way, shape, or form, right?
I understand that. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you know,
and Curt,
every once in a while. Yeah.
And Curt, the other thing I told him was it's the first time in the history of baseball a AAA team is in the World Series.
That's amazing, isn't it? Quite amazing.
Curt agrees.
Hey, don't knock our Norfolk Tides this year got the international.
Good job. Yeah, good job by the Tides. Yeah, I grew up with the Tides, so I know much about them. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, let's dig into JMU here. Undefeated, 25th in the country. They continue to just churn it out year after year. And this is the second year of FBS. I'm sure Ed will get to that topic of bowl eligibility and not eligible for the conference title in a second, because that's been the hot button topic with you. But with everybody, I should say, in regards to JMU. But Curt Cignetti's got a group here that has won a lot of close games. If you look at, I think it's 4 or 5 games, Curt, by 7 points or less. At this point, what you've seen from them, what's the most unique thing and interesting thing, what you've seen at this point, gearing up for this big showdown with Old Dominion today?
Well, I think one of the underlying stories to this whole season is coming into the year, Coach Cignetti expressed a lot of concern, not about his frontline guys on the defensive line, but what depth there was. There was not a lot of developed depth. And so that unit was the one that seemed to be the most of concern to Coach Cignetti. But yet, without that depth, they've still been the dominant factor, the dominant unit, week in and week out, the most dependable. So that, to me, has been really the key story, kind of the fulcrum of what this season has been for JMU. And it all starts right there with the nose tackle in James Carpenter, a former walk-on. He was seen when Coach Cignetti was at Elon, but shows up at James Madison, and he has just had a tremendous career and continues to lead that. And then there's just been a turnover of defensive linemen in the last several years. There's a lot of talk about the quarterbacks that have gone through the last several years. Many of those were the transfers, but that year in and year out, dominant defensive tackle, defensive end, that has been a hallmark too for what the Dukes have been able to do the last several years. And just coming in, I thought, they're going to find situations where they're going to wear down a little bit, because you'd like to have, 8, 9, 10 guys that you can rotate through, and they're not necessarily doing that. So there's a lot of stamina going on, and let's see if it can hold up here as we get in towards November.
And as we look at the results that are scrolling across our ticker, Curt, that 36-35 game, I remember coming in and watching that game on TV. It got stopped with the weather delay.
Yep.
Had a lead down to get it back. They're playing UVA in Charlottesville. I thought that was a really seminal moment for this team, because they had some close games that followed with Troy, Utah State, which was a really tricky spot, going all the way across the country, South Alabama by 8 points. Tell me what that game did and what it revealed to you about this team, be it offensively, defensively, special teams-wise, or just in general.
Well, there's a couple of things I think that Virginia game. First of all, if you go back even to last season when JMU played its first Sun Belt game, they were down 28-3 at App State. And it looked like, oh boy, here is the indoctrination into FBS and into the Sun Belt. And the Dukes came back and won that game, and that set the tone and the tempo for the rest of the season until a couple of key injuries there when the Dukes went on their 3-game losing streak, which included a loss down at Georgia Southern, and then being beaten at home by Marshall, and then going to Louisville, a very good Louisville team, and falling on the road there. But then they got their act back together. Todd Centeio came back. So one, I see the Virginia game this year as somewhat similar to the timing of the year. The result, obviously, a win, a comeback victory in the last minute. So there's that kind of commonality between the 22 season and the 23 season. The thing that really stands out to me from that Virginia game, though, is the emergence of McLeod. Again, going into the season, it was thought that there was going to be a redshirt freshman. Barnett was going to be the starter at quarterback, but he got in that game against Bucknell and just did not move the football. The bright lights turned on, and he kind of froze a little bit there. So he wasn't quite as ready as they thought he would be. And here's McLeod kind of standing on the sidelines. And I must admit, not maybe one of your best practice players, but he comes in, he moves the offense in the second half against Bucknell, and the Dukes end up winning that game, which they should have won, very handily. And the next week, he leads them down the field on that game-winning drive. And so then it becomes his team almost instantaneously. So those are the two things. One, the parallel to last year, and the McLeod emergence against the Virginia Cavaliers.
And we saw just last week at UVA pulled off the shocker, beating North Carolina down in Chapel Hill, when it looked like the Tar Heels would come back and win it behind their once Heisman candidate quarterback in Drake May.
Right. And Curt, the thing I'm looking at is in tonight's game, and Matt had asked me what I thought the spread was when I didn't see it. I thought it was around 7.5. When he told me 20, I was surprised. I thought it'd be a little bit closer. But one thing about Old Dominion, they can move the ball on the ground, they can run it. How do you assess in terms of looking at this game tonight, what Old Dominion is going to bring?
Well, I think the biggest concern is the way that they spread you out a little bit more. So, I mean, they go sideline to sideline probably as much as any opponent the Dukes have faced thus far this year, particularly the way that they set their receivers way out on the hashes. So I think for Coach Signetti, from what he has said this week in some press conferences and leading up to this game, is just how the defense is going to respond to basically this type of scheme that the Monarchs will bring in here tonight. Because if you look at it, Old Dominion does have a lot of big explosive plays. And so you might have them bottled up for a good portion of the game, but if they get, 4, 5, 6 big explosive plays and a lot of those end up in the end zone, then you find yourself potentially in a shootout if your offense is keeping up with them. So to me, that's the biggest concern is just how JMU, and particularly in the secondary, I think the defensive line will put some pressure back there. But one thing when you do, when you do spread it out, it does open up some seams. So your run fits have to be almost perfect as far as your linebackers are concerned. The linebacking core is healthy again, so that's a positive for JMU coming in tonight. And the experience that the younger guys had to go and throw out there through September and through the first half of October has reaped some dividends here. Now you got returning guys coming in, and so they're rotating in there quite a bit. Really that spread and how the secondary, if it's going to match up well. And a lot of folks don't give the secondary quite the credit I don't think that they deserve. And it's mainly because the defensive line has been so good at stopping the run that teams have only been able to throw the ball against James Madison. It looked like last week in its last ball game against Marshall that they were going to be able to run the football, even though they didn't have Ali was not there because he was hurt, but they got 35 yards out of a couple of runs, and that JMU doesn't give up 35 yards in a ball game. Ended up they only gave up -4. So, they stuff it, and that's because they're getting to the quarterback and Jalen Green. The defensive end is having a phenomenal year with a lot of sacks, a lot of tackles for loss. That offsets it a little bit. But, I say all that. As things get spread out, that does open things up a little bit. So you're going to have to be sure tackling on any run play and make sure that you're locking down with those receivers. And I know they'll bunch them up. And when they bunch them up, it's very easy for somebody to get lost in that coverage. And boom, you've got a big play for Old Dominion.
And as Curt made a great point there, at 9 different players for JMU on the defense with an interception, led by the 3 for Francis Meehan. Nobody with more than 1 for Old Dominion's defense, although the local product in Lamarion James from Indian River High School is certainly an explosive player we've seen do some things on defense and special teams for the Monarchs.
Yeah, Curt, I'm also looking at this from a rivalry standpoint. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Old Dominion JMU, very familiar. Fan bases all over the place, fans in both towns. How much does that play a role in this? You have JMU 7-0 looking good, nationally ranked. Old Dominion still trying to find their way, 4-3 at this point, trying to just get bowl eligible, not going for no national title, whatever. How much does all that maybe play a role in this in terms of, looking over your game notes during the week?
Well, I think that one, we knew this was going to be a rivalry game, and when JMU and Old Dominion got in the Sun Belt together, boom, it was instantaneously a rivalry. There was no question. And to me, with what happened last week for the Monarchs, the way that they won that game, beating App State, one of the better programs over the last 20 years in FCS and even at the FBS level, to me, that's a signature win. And it's one that just puts so much more on the outcome of tonight's ball game, particularly for the Monarchs. Do the Dukes have anything to play for? We can discuss that here in a moment. But as far as for Old Dominion, this becomes, to me, it's kind of a quasi championship, or at least you got a chance to set yourself up to win the East and particularly get into the championship game in the Sun Belt. There's some big games yet to be played. JMU still got Coastal Carolina down the stretch here coming up at the end of the season. App State as well. App State's at home. Coastal's on the road. So there's a lot of football yet to be played, but Old Dominion can position itself here. As far as the JMU side of things, I think the one thing that Curt Signetti does pretty well is he doesn't forget history, and I think he preaches that a lot to the student athletes. And with that, they feel a sense of responsibility to play well. And they, even though there's not been but the one contest between the two programs with the current generation of football players on both sides of the field tonight. I'm sure the same there at Old Dominion. They know that this is a big game for the alumni that you're playing for, beyond that. And coaches will tell you too, I'm sure Coach Young, that too, these rivalries, they help you to kind of gear up to get ready. But once the whistle sounds, it becomes just its own entity, and things will play out from there. But I think it's going to be a fever pitch at Bridgeport Stadium with the 8:00 start. Fans are going to have a whole day to kind of lube up and get ready for tonight's ball game. So it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun for both the Monarch fans and the JMU fans tonight in Harrisonburg.
And we're looking forward to it. You can watch it ESPNU 8 p.m. Make sure you follow Curt Dudley on Twitter or X at Curt Dudley. You see the name on the screen at CurtDudley for all your JMU updates. So many fans and alums across the Commonwealth, whether they're rooting for Old Dominion or James Madison, they just love good football between two quality programs. And Curt, my last one before I let Ed finish up with that elephant in the room with JMU in a second with you.
Yeah.
That stat that flashed on the screen, I'm flipping around a bunch of games last week, and ODU was playing Appalachian State on NFL Network, which was great to see because now having that visibility for the Monarchs programs and everybody in the Sun Belt, whether it be ODU, App State, JMU, you fill in the blank. They were 0 for 9 on fourth downs until that conversion where they scored. They got behind their home crowd to get that comeback win. How much do you think the home crowd is an edge for JMU tonight, and how do the Monarchs go about neutralizing that? I'm sure converting third and fourth downs, if they get to that point, is going to be a big deal to quiet the big JMU faithful that'll be there.
I think there is, if you're a visiting team, one is if you're hanging with JMU into the third quarter or, late in the third, early in the fourth, if you're hanging with them, here is something that we're still, as a football nation, so to speak, we're still working on. And I think it's not unique to James Madison. It's probably this way at many places, unless you're one of the big time Power Fives, is fans staying there for the complete game. And you'll hear it on podcasts. You'll hear it in, social media encounters, hey, stay for all 4 quarters. Now, the interesting thing is, and this has been part of the history of JMU, in the last several years, the FCS, the fourth quarter didn't mean a whole lot. JMU was up 48-10 or something like that. So fans had the tradition, if you want to call it that, of trickling out in the fourth quarter, particularly the student section. And so it's a matter of the way you neutralize is to be in the game in the third, late in the third quarter, because fans will trickle out of there. Now I don't know what to expect tonight. This is a late game, the 8:00 start. All the other games have been at noon here. The 6:00 game, Bucknell, but everything else that's been on national television has been a noon start. And they've stayed pretty well. Now, a couple of weeks ago, it was a blowout against Georgia Southern. But, I think that's the key, is just keeping them in the stands. And that is just something that JMU fan engagement and marketing and other alums and the guys that come in and wear purple and gold all the time, they're trying to preach to that crowd to stay in the pews until the sermon is done, guys.
That's a good way of putting it, Ed.
Yeah, you can, but Curt, we got to address it. It's been so crazy about bowl eligibility that the Virginia Senate has been involved.
Yeah.
And to kind of alert our fans, I'm going to have you speaking to it, but a lot of times in reclassifying from division, the NCAA is a procedure you have to follow. I always thought it was stupid because they bring a team up from, let's say, Division II to Division I. And I'm looking at basketball. So you're in a conference now, and you might, after a year or two, be eligible for conference championship, but you can't go to the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And then those conferences have to decide, well, do we really want them to play? Because if they win the conference, they can't go to the NCAA tournament. So we have to send our runner-up. And then people say, well, why'd you play them to begin with anyways? That looks kind of dumb. Now, football's a little different, but it's still these classification. They come up. You have to meet certain criteria. Here's a team undefeated. Their history tradition has been tremendous for the NCAA throughout, which I think is another great compliment of JMU program, is through different coaches, they're still high level. You don't see that much at all.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to the people, and even including me, what's going on, where we at the latest with it now, and will, in fact, they be playing in any kind of a bowl game potentially?
Okay. Well, first of all, I think, I've heard a lot of comments about the rules being archaic and old-fashioned and what have you, but I do think for most programs, those rules still do apply for most programs. I think James Madison University is an outlier in the way that it positioned itself for making the move to the FBS. It was a very methodical, steady process. And then Mr. Bourne, Jeff Bourne, the athletics director, He was kind of sitting there the whole time, he had his hand on the button, just waiting for the right time to occur. And when Texas and Oklahoma decided they were going to shift, all of a sudden, we know that landslide of movement, and boom, JMU was all of a sudden in the Sun Belt Conference. Was the expectation to be good? Yeah, quite frankly, I didn't know they would be this good. I'm sure Coach Signetti and the players thought they would be, and a lot of the alumni base and fan base would think they would be this good. So it was a very methodical process. And Coach Signetti speaks about common sense prevailing. It seems in common sense that they should the waiver should have been accepted. To me, the waiver should have been accepted because it was proven last year this program was ready to go financially, competitively, all those aspects. The Sun Belt's kind of backed up into the corner for that same reason you said, Ed, is that, well, if the NCAA is not going to let you play into the tournament, then why would you put your league at risk? And let's face it, we're talking about a lot of money. So when you get when you're going to send your conference champion to a bowl game, you better be somebody that can actually be eligible. So it's really convoluted in the whole sense of the word. I know that legislatures have got involved with it, and they should know as well, those rules, those laws don't change overnight. It takes a long time to get those things ironed out. I do think that JMU has an excellent opportunity to play in a bowl game. I think if the numbers bear out, it's all a math game. If there are enough teams that don't meet the requirement, the 6 victories, 7-5, 6-6 teams, then JMU would certainly get an invitation, I would think. So they're not shut out of it. They're just the path is not as direct. The unfortunate thing, the biggest thing, unfortunately, to me is this has been a great season. If it continues on the path in which it is going, then you're going to get certainly a lot more national exposure. You're going to get a lot of conversation. And, the New Year's 6 opportunity, that's the biggest thing. That's a huge opportunity. Is this you want to be able to say you can do that time and time again, but that's in the future. We don't know. Right now is what's important. And for those current players who have gone through a heck of a lot during their tenure, whether they've transferred in or with JMU originally, because many of them, went through the COVID experience as well. So for the JMU student athletes right now, they've faced a lot, even though they've had great success. They have done it with the uphill climbs like no other programs or very few programs have had to do before under those circumstances. That's not to take away from anybody that's won a national championship or done anything or won a ball game for that matter. We know there's a lot of work that goes into it. But, that's where it hurts the most is you got that fan base and those student athletes that are here for their one shining moment, and they may not get that opportunity because of the rule.
And if they beat Old Dominion tonight to move to 8-0, then the undefeated watch is on, whether they go to a bowl or not, eligible or not, because then they have Georgia State to follow on the road, host UConn, host Appalachian State at Coastal Carolina. So certainly they become more of a national story. Mm-hmm. And this whole story, whether they go or not, will become even more discussion, will it not?
Yeah, it will. And that's what I was saying is it's interesting. There's a paradox here is that you could make a lot of noise because you go to a bowl game. If JMU doesn't go to a bowl game this year, it's making a lot of noise. There is the brand of James Madison University football is being discussed because of this circumstance. So, there is a silver lining to this. But again, when you narrow it down, you take that rifle approach to it and you aim at that one situation. The current student athlete's not having that experience because the rule is the biggest squash about all this as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, hopefully it is a win-win either way you look at it. Well, it should be a fun ball game tonight in Harrisonburg. Old Dominion at 4-3 visiting the Dukes of JMU in the Royal Rivalry. The Dukes unbeaten on the season. Curt Dudley, he's the man to follow on social media, whether it's X, Twitter, Facebook. I'll give you all the updates when it comes to JMU sports. Always a pleasure, my friend. I'm sure we'll bump into each other soon, and I look forward to talking again.
Yep, very, very good. Thank you very much there, Matt. Do appreciate it. Coach Young, good to see you again. You guys enjoy the rest of the day. It's going to be a great day for college football.
Curt, you too, and take care of that voice, and hopefully I won't get any germs today from this.
Well, I'm not saying a lot today. I got 2 homecomings to go to, but I'm not going to talk a whole lot.
Ooh,
there you go.
Keep the lozenges nearby in the pockets.
You got to drink.
There you go, in the water. That's the one and only Curt Dudley, our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk as we talk to you from the Plex. We're going to take a time out and come back with our NFL pick segment. We'll go through the final scores around the high school area as well. We're going to take a time out, though, and hear from a couple more of our sponsors here at the Plex. In fact, we've got Zoop. Get some soup.
Yeah,
if you need to
Zoop.
get the voice relaxed like Kurt, get some soup.
Yeah,
at Zoop.
Next week, you're going to need that Zoop. It's going to get cold.
Man, I wish I was out there.
Let's unretire.
Why, Matt? Randy Moss.
Dan Marino? You all right?
Hey, Grandpa! Grandpa!
Do that.
Thousands of athletes disappear in clutch moments due to falling hydration levels.
I used to go missing all the time. I let everyone down. I even let Shannon Sharp down.
Yeah, you let me down. They've been told how you feel yourself doesn't matter. That electrolytes are all the same. Then just like that, they're gone. Get yourself back in the game. Get yourself a Gatorade. Could be the difference between dominating and disappearing. Gatorade, rehydrate, replenish, refuel.
Okay, who here has reached peak fall?
Peak what?
Peak fall.
I am wearing plaid.
And I'm wearing a cardigan.
I guess I am eating snickerdoodle cookie dough.
And I am eating a pumpkin pie blizzard.
The new DQ Fall Blizzard menu has reached peak fall. Pumpkin pie, snickerdoodle cookie dough, and more. They are back.
I just love fall.
Apparently we all do.
Oh, they did it. Peak fall achieved. DQ.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back with 757 Saturday Sports Talk at the Plex with Coach Ed Young. I am Matt Hatfield. As always, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Virginia Beach Sports Plex, to get updates with everything we're streaming, whether it be high school football, whether it be the Neptune Bowl, whether it be soccer action, field hockey, lacrosse. We've got you covered pro, college, local sports with the folks at Hometown Sports Productions each and every week. And we're also streaming the show on YouTube. sportstalk.com, our Twitter X feed at 757 Sports Talk, and all over the web, all over the globe. We're global. The national.
Like that.
Yeah. We've got a couple more high school districts to go before we get to our NFL picks, which are coming up in just a moment. Western Tidewater scores from Friday night. Greensville County over Franklin 44-6. Southampton shutout wins at 49-0. So Keith has got to be happy. We need our Smithfield Packer fans, Southampton grad Keith. Get him out there. I know our man Derek Borgum out there was watching the show. Tell my man Keith we want that out there. Derek's giving me a prediction, by the way. Phoebus 21, Warwick 13 will block a P18 and score an apartment. I like that. Essex 38-28 over Lancaster. Northumberland 50, Colonial Beach 18, King and Queen 48, Middlesex 13, King William 48-8 over West Point. Watch out for King William. They're going to make some noise in this thing.
Team that gets 4 points too
yes,
now.
It is. They can run the ball.
Points.
They put a tough schedule too. They're the toughest schedule in the Class 2 team. Nandua beat Washington of Maryland. Washington of Maryland fell to Nandua 33-0, and Sussex Central eking out one 22-20 over Brunswick. Bay Rivers District Finals from Friday night's action. You had Ward Hill over Tad 37-6 as the Lions continue to roar. How about Smithfield and New Kent? Went to overtime, 27-24. Packers got it done. Mason McGavern.
Yes. Tracy Parker.
Mason McGavern. You don't like Tracy Parker's he's doing his build. He always been like Tracy.
Good guy, man. Just want to make sure you're doing all right.
The question is he in Reelville? Because if he's in Reelville, he might be taken care of pretty soon. Taste and funny. Pocosin 42-7 over Bruton. Mason McGavern had a couple of run guys with Baker Green. He's been a track commit. Grafton over Jamestown 62-0. And we talked about the Chicho's Pizza 757 football player of the week being none other than Davon Ford of Peace School Class. We got a couple of good candidates who went through the Beach District with Kamari Kirby of Bayside, who swung 4 touchdowns in a quarter. Hassan Farrar from Green Run, who threw for 265 and 4 TDs in the game. And there's one at Grafton, Luke Bryant. No, not Luke Bryan, the music artist, but Luke Bryant with the T at the end, like Kobe Bryant. Luke Bryant. That's what Luke Bryant. Luke Bryant. This is how out of touch we are with country music. We don't know if it's Luke Bryan or Brian. I think it's Luke Bryan. We got a team. I admit it. Anyhow, he listens to more than hip hop and rap, and I'm old school. I've got the playlist playing, Michael McDonald and Dionne Warwick and Jordan Benson and all the greats. I'll throw a little Frank Sinatra. Luke Bryant for Grafton, 6 TD passes, a 62-0 shutout of Jamestown at Bailey Field. So there you have it. Christian Velez, by the way, had a TD catch for Smithfield and that one from Chikai Parker. In York, we mentioned losing to Lafayette 42-0 on Thursday night. So that takes care of the Bay Rivers. That leaves us one district left. You know what district that is? That's good. It's the Eastern District. We'll get to Washington at John Marshall today at 1 o'clock. Granby, a winner over Manor 30-8. Shanique Wright had a pick in that game. Had a big game with Shanique Wright for Granby Comets. He did a catch, maybe 2 of them. Very good performance for him. They won last Saturday against Northam and Portsmouth. Lake Taylor holding off Northam 34-28 as Hank Sawyer's Titans did a win. They had a big lead of like 28 in that game, but they held off the Greyhounds. You're still going to get back to the Class 3 ranking, I believe.
So they're totally eliminated.
And 9 different players, that's right, 9, not 9, 9 different players. What is that, 5 and 4? 9 different players find the end zone.
9 is. You spend more time.
Okay, so it's all about one finger. So take the finger away. There you go. That's 9. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm going to take the finger.
You might give me the finger. Maury, 81. Churchland, zilch, nada, nothing. As the Commodores pitch their 4th straight shutout. How about that defense? Or do you say, how about that offense?
Now, here's where we go. Warwick, you think of the defense, nobody scores.
Yeah, Maury 4 weeks in a row.
You could tell me Maury has 7 shutouts in a row, and I'm going to say, what do they average in the month of October?
In October, they outscored their opponents 312-0. That's an average of 78-0 per game. And you have a better October. The baseball team has a good October. But can you have a better October on the gridiron than the Maury Commodores in the first 3 McCain? I would think not.
I don't know.
What a performance. And I do know with under a minute to go, up 81-0, you were not pleased with them going for 2.
I don't understand it, and I don't really want to come out loud with it, but maybe the kicker's hurt. And a youngster in there, they want to try
That's
to
a
see.
good question. Did he get hurt in the game?
I don't think they can run it, but you're up X amount of points.
By the way, they did miss 2 of their first 3 extra points.
And, well, there could be a reason, and I'm sure coach has the reason for it. It's just as an outsider, you wonder why go for 2 when you have so many points. Because normally we think of going for 2 because you're trying to put the score in a situation where the opponents have to score an extra way, maybe an extra field goal. I don't see Churchland coming up with no 82-point play to win that. But, you know, they've been known to put the points on the board. They're going against Freedom's record of last year.
We talked about it. You said last week on the show you did not think they would.
I know they score 80 points the very next week, though.
Yeah, they're ready to tell you, Ed Young, to shove it.
Maybe they heard
take
me say
this.
I don't think they can
take
do it.
this commentary and shove it. Yeah, you know what else? You know what else they said? Well, they put the hex on you at the end of the game when Morey was done at Paladin Field.
I can imagine. Told me where to go.
They sent the truckers. They said something.
Hey, Prim! Down!
That's what Daryl told him. Daryl told him.
Daryl's told me many times where to go. So,
especially
days when I was coaching at Northview, I remember.
We got to get Daryl to do a video for every team city and just have him say that. And just have it on loop. Go on back to.
Better have your $5 in a
Go on back to Nova Scotia. Go on back to Antarctica. Go on back to Suffolk, Ed Young.
And he'll say it.
Yeah, we'll have no problem sending it to you. He's going to ask you for $5 in the soda.
Absolutely.
All right, we've covered all the scores. Big game today with Phoebus Warwick. I'm on my way there in a minute to go Toodaloo, but it is now time for the picks in the league where they play for pay.
But they play for pay college level now. You might have to change that.
I might have to change that. We did talk about that.
More money than the colleges.
More money than the colleges? Do they really?
Most.
More money? I want more money? All right. Well, it is time to go through the NFL picks. Let's give you the standings, though, right now on the screen as you see it flashing across. As we do this with you each and every week through the playoffs and through the Super Bowl for the National Football League. So here we go. Let's fire up the music. Last week, 2-1 for yours truly, Matt Hatfield. Philadelphia minus 2.5 against the Dolphins. Easy pie. No trouble whatsoever. Got the job done. Baltimore minus 3 against the Lions. No trouble. Got the job done easily. Over 44.5 Seattle, Arizona. They stopped scoring at halftime. That's where I had a problem. 20-10 was the final. Seahawks won. So I go 2-1, now 11-10. So I'm tied with this guy, the coach Ed Young, who had Buffalo minus 8.5 against New England. How'd that work out for you, sir? Mac Jones said, keep up with the Joneses. 29-25 Pats.
Unbelievable.
Stunning the Bills. The Bills.
Unbelievable.
Kansas City Chargers. Kansas City Chiefs and LA Chargers. Over 47.5. He had that, and it was a 31-17 win, so you win by half a point. You are a lucky son of a gun.
That's better be lucky than good.
Lottery ticket. That's why he keeps the chain, folks. Keeps the lucky chain. Lucky cross. Tampa Bay minus 2.5. You weren't so lucky on that one yet. Atlanta a winner 16-13 with Desmond Ridder at quarterback, and my man Koo kicking the game-winning field goal to send you down the tubes at 1-2.
I just can't trust Atlanta. I just don't trust Atlanta.
If you're going opposite Bruce Pearl, our buddy from the Mustangs, you're good. You're having success because he had the Washington Commanders minus 2.5. Giants won 17-14 behind Tyrod Taylor, the Hampton Crabber, former Virginia Tech Hokie. They've been more explosive, more productive on offense with him instead of Daniel Jones, who's not keeping up with the Joneses and Mac Jones. Not for now until he comes back. Tampa Bay minus 2.5 for Bruce. Like you both took the L. And he did have the Bears down, Chicago Bears, plus 2.5 against the Raiders.
That was an
easy win. 30-12. So there you have it. I get to go first for the picks for this week. And with that being the case, I need to go first. Where am I going to begin here in my picks?
I got a feeling. I ain't going to say it out loud.
There's an over-under I love. There's also a Sunday night game I love. And you saw what Bruce did picking against the Bears. Tyson Badgett. You know, we wouldn't know him if he had a name tag and he walked in here and he said,
Shepherd University, Virginia. No, wait a minute. Somebody check that out. Shepherd University. Is that in West Virginia? I thought it was in Virginia.
Shepherd University.
It could be.
Is in Shepherdstown, West Virginia. So what are you talking about?
So we annexed part of Virginia and sent it over to West Virginia.
I'm just telling you, you're wrong again, which is nothing new.
I think first player they've ever had in the NFL.
Let's go to some more bounce music right there. I'm going to go with the Chargers, the Super Chargers, to get the job done against the Bears. Minus 8.5 is a lot of points. I don't care. They're winning this by at least 2 scores. Even Brandon Staley can't screw this up. Give me the Super Chargers, the Bolts, to prevail in convincing fashion. All right, Edward Young gets to take 2 selections.
I'll tell you, I'm all over the board. There's so many great selections for this week. I just don't know where to go, but I'll go somewhere close to home. Give me the Eagles minus 7 against the Commanders. I think that's at least a
bad pick, ladies and gents. Bad pick. Commanders will get the cover. Ron Rivera is telling Ed Young, you don't know what you're talking about. And Ed Young's telling Ron Rivera, you don't know what you're talking about either.
I will say this. I like Ron Rivera. I know a heck of a lot as a guest who's a coach, but he will not be coaching the Redskins next year.
Whoa. You're right, because they're not called the Redskins. They're called the Commanders. Or short for commies.
I was trying to not say that, but it's the way I look at it. Commanders just doesn't fit.
What's your next one? You get 2 in a row.
All right, next one I'm going, since they played so lousy last week, and I think they'll play lousy again because their opponent will make them do that. Sorry, my Raider Nation, I'm going against you. Give me Detroit minus 7.5.
Hey, going it! You stole one of mine, you jerk face.
Well, I knew that you would pick this. Why don't you take the Raven Cardinal game? Baltimore's going to win by 30. Take that game.
Why would you why would you do that? The line would have bounced back. It's like the Cowboys did. You get smashed. Quality for the Knicks. The Lions can run the ball. That's a great pick. But the Raiders they haven't scored 20 plus in offense all year, have they? And that's with Devontae Adams, who they still shoot.
They put tackle. They try to tackle with one arm. They try to tackle straight up.
Had an underwhelming year.
You know, and Josh McDaniels needs to go back to coordinator for somebody.
I don't disagree with that. All right, so I get the next 2 to push this deal out. All right, I'm going to go with America's Dream. They're not America's team, but they can be America's team for this week while I'm picking them. The Dallas Cowboys laying 6.5 against a Rams team that's beat up. Matthew Stafford might not make it for this game with Micah Parsons in that pass rush. Give me Dallas laying a 6.5. They win by a TD or more at home. That's pick number 2. Go with the Chargers minus 8.5. And then I'm going to the over-under style because you took my selection of the Lions. Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Oh my. What's the total you're showing, Edward, for KC and Denver? 47.5? I'm showing 47.5.
I'm looking at 47.5.
Eric Notty's part of that defense for the Chiefs. He had Ocean Lakes High School in Virginia Beach. Like to give a little local flavor, a little connection there. What are we talking about? Retire, man. Who's going to retire? Retire on the spot.
Make a guarantee.
On the spot. What's going to make Ed Young retire?
Arizona win the World Series. I'm out of here.
Really?
Arizona wins the World Series. I'm going.
You're retiring from what? Coaching,
everything.
Teaching, podcasting, the whole bit?
I'll make the statement. Everything. I'm done. Podcasting. Everything.
Come on, guys. That's all we need is to win 4 games.
Done.
He moves coaching.
And I'll move to North Dakota.
Really?
Never heard of again.
I've never rooted so hard for the D-backs in my life, and I rooted hard then to win. You're going to retire? When you walk around New York City and North Dakota in a bikini, you'll see it in North Dakota.
New York City. I was going to say, why would I want to walk around bikini anywhere? I wouldn't want to see that.
Well, back to my pick of KC and Denver after that whole declaration. The last time they played was October 12th. That was 16 days ago, right? Yes, it was. It was 19-8. That's 27 points. They're going to score 21 more points this time? No, I don't think so. Not in Denver. Harder to win there for the Chiefs. This will be a low-scoring defensive battle. 21-14, 2017, 2013. Under 47.5. So again, the picks under 47.5. Chiefs Broncos, Dallas minus 6.5, Chargers minus 8.5. Before Ed Young gives us his last selection because he likes to steal things. Again, buy if you can, steal if you must, but always cheap. He does 2 out of 3 things every day. It's like, let's give you the selections for one, the only, Spurl the Mustang. Go Oppo if you want to make some shekels. Here's Bruce's picks this week. He's taking the Cardinals. Attaboy, Brucey. Plus 9.5 against the Ravens. Quote them nevermore. Edgar Allan Poe. Colts plus 1.5. Who are they playing? Who are the Colts playing? They got Gardner Minshew.
Tennessee.
They got Minshew. They got Minshew at quarterback.
Playing Tennessee.
Do you Minshew?
Saints.
Yeah, that's an easy one. You got that first. And the Lions minus 7.5. He agrees with you. You got a copycat. What's your last pick? Is you're going to steal one of these? You can't steal two of them. You can steal one, not two.
No, let me see here. I'm going to try an over and under. I'm going to try
Be careful with what you keep on. You're going to send us in Tokyo. They're going to go off the road.
How about I do an over and under?
Jets Giants. He's going with the
I'm
under.
going Jets.
I knew it. I knew him like a book.
Jets Giants.
Under.
They're going. They say 35.5.
Yeah, it's a good score that they played 6 quarters of football. No disrespect, Tyrod, but that Jets team looks pretty good. They've given some good quarterbacks fits this year.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes,
Now,
Jalen Hurts.
I want to say
that was without Sauce Gardner in that Eagles win, by the way. Corner.
I want to say that's going to end up 40 points.
Do you?
I think it's going to be rated for
You're fine. Right at 40.
That means I got to take over.
You're going to go over 35.5. There's no way this hits. I'm going to give it for you over 35.5.
Yeah, but I'm going to. Something's telling me to take it over.
Then do it. It's already written in pen and ink on the pad right there, folks. Can you read that? Can you read my handwriting with that? On the screen. I just picked. There we go. Right there on the screen. Done deal. So that's going to conclude this episode. We got to run because I got to go to Todd Stadium and Newport News to see our good buddy Bill Nettles and maybe Dominic.
Tell Bill I said hello.
That's going to close out this edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Hatfield and Young from the Plex. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you next week. Also, we got our field hockey podcast on Tuesday, our football podcast on Thursday, and all kinds of streaming and broadcasting, including Friday Night Link Shores football, their home finale with, of course, with Chris. You want to come to the game with me, Friday? We've got to do it.
Let me know about that.
I just did.
I said you might be over.
Anyhow, we'll talk to you next time. Hatfield and Young at Plex. Enjoy your sports weekend, everyone, and go Diamondbacks!
No.
We want to send Ed to North Dakota.